Taylor Swift saying that she was the problem in her song Antihero, but a lot of fans online are actually saying Ticketmaster is the problem.
Yes, 2 Taylor Swift pre-sales underway. Ticket buying problems all over. Fans with pre-sale codes yesterday complained of long waits, crashing websites, being unable to get any kind of ticket.
Fans are reacting online. Andrea said, Ticketmaster, you will be paying for my therapy bills. Riley says this video right here is, quote, that one Ticketmaster programmer trying to do all the Taylor Swift pre-sale.
Coral says, raise your hand if you've ever been personally victimized by Ticketmaster. And Stephanie says, this picture shows Swifties before and after the Ticketmaster pre-sale for the Eras Tour.
Yikes. So what exactly went wrong and how can it be fixed for the future? Let's dig into it.
I definitely thought with the presale code I would get in there and also get a ticket at a reasonable price.
This superfan already has major Taylor Swift vibes, with the purple background and the blonde bangs. Now she's also got some bad blood with Ticketmaster. Yesterday, Swifties like her received a code from Ticketmaster. It was supposed to have access to pre-sale tickets starting in the morning. Some lucked out, but demand was so high the site crashed, leaving many fans stuck in queues for hours, eventually getting error messages when they tried to check out.
She has such a huge fan base. I don't know a system that could keep up with that. So, I don't discredit them for that, but I think we all knew what the turnout was going to be.
Ticketmaster says there was historically unprecedented demand for the Taylor Swift tour.
They completely dropped the ball on it. I mean, they knew the demand was there. They saw how many people signed up, how many millions, if not billions of people signed up across the country.
You might be tempted to shake it off and buy resale tickets, but an independent ticket retailer says fans should wait.
I would wait till after the holidays. You will see more availability come in the February, March timeframe. The show is until May.
Some U.S. leaders are getting on the bandwagon as well, calling Ticketmaster a monopoly. So let's dig into what that means. Senator Amy Klobuchar said, what is going on with Ticketmaster? It's an example of why we need strong antitrust enforcement. Monopolies wreak havoc on consumers and our economy. When there is no competition to incentivize better services and fair prices, we all suffer the consequences. AOC said, daily reminder that Ticketmaster is a monopoly. Its merger with Live Nation should never have been approved, and they need to be reined in. Break them up. Well, Wake Forest University Assistant Professor of Finance Kenneth Ford gives us the finer points of a business monopoly.
A monopoly is essentially when you have a market where there's only one seller of a good or service. So in this case, it seems as if Ticketmaster is the only entity or business providing access to tickets directly to consumers.
Well, Ford says Ticketmaster acts as a monopoly in many different ways. When it joined with concert promoter Live Nation, it really took over the live music market. But the situation that we saw with Taylor Swift ticket sales isn't what the government would typically go after.
The government is concerned about prices. Right, so if two banks merge and now there's only one bank in an area, is that going to hurt banking prices for consumers? Or, and in this case, the prices per se weren't hurt, but rather access to buying the tickets. Right, the system crashed, and it couldn't handle the demand for people wanting to buy tickets at that time.
Okay, so prices, not the big problem for fans during pre-sale, but those shopping resale are looking at shelling out thousands of dollars. Take a look at StubHub for Taylor Swift's Saturday night concert in Atlanta. This one made my heart skip a beat. Tickets are going for as much as $74,000. Seriously.
No, that's all I'm going to say is no. A lot of fans waited hours in that virtual line for tickets yesterday, and one fan asked, what is Joe Biden's plan to unpause the Ticketmaster queue for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour? He doesn't have a plan to get the line moving, but he is working to cut hidden fees for concert goers.
These are junk fees. They're unfair and they hit marginalized Americans the hardest, especially low-income folks and people of color. They benefit big corporations, not consumers, not working families. And that.
But some Ticketmaster critics say getting rid of hidden fees is not enough.
The high fees are just a reflection of larger market issues. Ticketmaster Live Nation is a monopoly that allows them to both impose these fees, to manipulate the ticketing market, to make it so that artists can't earn money. And so you can't just make sure that there's disclosure of the fees if those fees even continue to just be as high as Ticketmaster decides they're going to be. You need to address the core business model issue that this is a monopoly that has to be broken up in order to bring more competition to the market.
That was Morgan Harper. She works for the American Economic Liberties Project. They've recently launched a campaign, Breakup Ticketmaster. All of this to pressure the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the Live Nation Ticketmaster merger.
The Taylor Swift tour and the whole ticketing situation with that is just one example of there's a lot of unpredictability for the consumer on how much a ticket is going to cost. There are a lot of fees. In some cases, Ticketmaster is charging fees that are 78% of the face value of the ticket. And you have no idea what to expect. But then it's not just on the ticketing front. As artists, there are very few artists now who can earn revenue given that Ticketmaster and Live Nation have vertically integrated. So they control both artist management agencies, live event venues themselves, in addition to the ticketing market.
The American Economic Liberties Project wants folks impacted by Ticketmaster's practices to step up. There's a current letter writing campaign happening with messages delivered to the Assistant Attorney General for Antitrust.
This campaign is for anyone. You don't need to be a public policy expert. You don't need to even travel to Washington, D.C. The Department of Justice is there to serve the public. That's what our tax money is going for. And so it's really important that we reach out to them.
For fans still looking to brave the queue and try to get Taylor Swift tickets, we asked for some Ticketmaster advice from the man who literally wrote the book on it, called Ticketmasters.
If one has the ability to use the Capital One presale, I personally would give it a go. You still could do it tonight. You still could do it tomorrow. It's going to be hard. What ultimately I would counsel is everybody should give it a go at the moment of the on sale. And however, if tickets are not available or tickets are not available at a price point that makes you comfortable, which I can understand that for some people, I know some people who have that in mind going in, I would say be patient. Remember that these shows are actually not going to take place for many, many months down the road.
Ticketmaster also says use a laptop or desktop computer. It works better than a phone. When you get in the queue, don't refresh your browser. It will take you to the back of the line, and be patient. There are other people looking at tickets the same time as you, so seats could become available and unavailable at a moment's notice.